Thank you for joining me today on Good News with Twanda Black, where we're discovering some of the most inspiring trials to triumph stories and empowerment moments. Call up a friend and let them know it's time for some good news. Hello and welcome to Good News. I'm Twanda Black, your host. I interview folks from all walks of life, and today I have a wonderful musician to introduce you to. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the conversation. Hello.
Hi.
You're looking cute. Everybody, this is Psalt-e.
Thank you. Hello, everybody.
And it's so good to have you on. I know that you were born in Fort Hood, Texas, and then y'all moved to Rochester and then to Syracuse. So where are you living now?
Currently in Syracuse.
All right, all right.
In my heart, Rochester.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Psalt-e. That's me, Psalt-e. I always say that because the P is silent. But I am a singer, worship leader, songwriter, rapper, lover of Jesus, and with my husband Jay Sharp, who's my producer, we produce music together. Just great music about. I think, Psalt-e in itself is really about just embracing who I am, my flavor. Mm-hmm. God gave me the name, so, I just kind of, it's my ode to him every day, my paying homage to him for blessing me with the name. I owe it to him to be my unique self, not just for me, but for the world.
The word is Psalt-e. How did that come about, Psalt-e?
So Psalt-e came from, I was being prayed for one day. I struggled with rejection for many years. I actually wrote a song about it on my EP. It's called Fit In. And it's really like a testimony in my journey to getting to accepting myself where I am now. Again, I struggled with rejection. And one day God revealed himself to me and just let me know that I am good enough as I am. And then I was being prayed for, fast forward a little bit. And as the pastor was praying for me, he said, God has literally preserved your flavor at a time where you tried so hard to get rid of it, to give it away, to blend in, to conform. God has literally preserved it. And literally, I kid you not, my eyes were closed. God showed me Psalt-e, the spelling and everything. I just saw it. And we've been going with that ever since.
Wow. So let's talk about rejection for a minute. Okay. Rejection is a tough one. I mean, I think that a lot of us can't handle rejection. And like you said, in order not to be rejected, you try to fit in, you try to be like everybody else, and you forget your authentic self. So talk about how you were able to overcome, that rejection piece in your life.
That's a good question. I think a lot of times conformity can be an option or so easy to embrace because there isn't a lot of or enough representation of people being themselves successfully. Not successfully to where they're not making money, but like it's not the end thing. It's not what's as popular. So I know for me, dealing with rejection, I'm also in therapy. Like, shout out to my therapist.
Hey, all the way live. I'm with you on that one.
Self-love, self-healing is like the best thing in the whole entire world. So I just thank God for that. But you gotta a lot of times find the root of it. What's the trauma? What is it connected to? What is the fear that it's connected to? Yeah. So God within the last year has really been allowing me to go deep and peeling back the layers. Not no onions. Yeah. We're not musty. But just peeling back the layers and just figuring out where this started. I think what helped me to get over the rejection was getting to know God, because I like to tell people God holds the instruction manual. Like when you buy an appliance, it comes with the product and it comes with an instruction manual. And I like to believe that God holds the instruction manual to who we are because he's our creator. He made us. Right. So I think it's the best thing that somebody can do in my journey will help me get over rejection, getting to know him and allowing him to show me who he created me to be, and just walking in the freeness of that, who he created me to be genuinely and authentically. So I guess how I get over that is really just being in that freedom, that liberation of being who I am and allowing God's peace and his joy to fill me, but also to transcend to where other people are being affected by it. It's so infectious to where their lives are touched as well.
Did it have anything to do with your weight?
Weight, yes.
Yeah.
Weight, more or less. I wasn't always like this. My weight.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be a little McThickums. But the rejection, the eating was the result of.
Oh, okay.
Looking for that feeling. It was more of a comfort thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a really good question. Wow.
Yeah.
Now I'm in a place to where it's, what it is. God is healing you from the root of a lot of things. So now we just need to exercise consistency.
Yeah.
Doing the right thing consistently.
Right.
So I could say some of it is weight related. Some of it was just, I feel like being myself, but just not being accepted for it. Like I was talking to my therapist, and one of the traumas that I was able to trace back was being in middle school and having a group of friends, because I've always loved people. Like I was a class ambassador in elementary school. Like I've always loved people. But one time in middle school, there was a girl who plotted very well and she turned all my friends against me, and they all just like had this big discussion, like, this is why we don't like you, and this is why we're not going to hang out with you anymore, and we don't want you to hang out with us. So it was really an itemized list of things, and the hurt the toll that hurt took, sprouted itself in ways that I wasn't even aware until recently, being with my therapist. And it turned me into a person who was, I don't want you to think or this or this or this, really self-conscious, and this fear of, I don't want you to think, or I don't want you to not like me because, and just again, really worried about what other people think about you, basically. Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Because sum it up. Yep. That's not your problem. That's not your issue. Yeah. It's really not your issue. Yeah. It's really. I'm so glad. We need more authentic Black women. And because you hear Black women say all the time, I just don't like dealing with women. I mean, like women, I'm sure other women say it, but my peers say I don't like dealing with women because A, B, C, D. And it's really probably all about authenticity, but also the confidence of that woman who's saying that as well. And the boldness and just being in your own skin, in spite of knowing that they might laugh, they might talk, but at the end of the day, when you lay in the bed by yourself, you don't have to review your day wondering like, man, what was I thinking? What was I doing? Right. You feel good in your own skin. So true. So true. So talk about your musical influences. Wow. Across the board. I am classically trained. So I definitely have classical influences, opera. I'm more of an impressionistic classical music fan. I love that. Jazz. I love jazz. I love good opera. A good soprano singing is equivalent to like a good gospel run. Like seriously, it's really cool. Hip hop, obviously. Some of my earlier influences being Michael Peace, like the pioneer of gospel hip hop, and Stephen Wiley with Bible Break, learning the books of the Bible through rap. Praise and worship music, Carmen, Maranatha, you like everything. Rock and only, Journey. And then on my dad's side, like he did a lot of the old school Motown and all of that. And then me, boy groups, I just like music. So I noticed that most of your music is in the rap genre. So how did you get there? Being classically trained, that's very different. Right. And I do miss singing classically sometimes, but it's been a whole journey. Like I've always been a fan of hip hop music. Jay-Z's like one of my favorite, and Kanye and a few others. I got listening to it, in high school, growing up, and throughout the years. I've always liked rapping, and I've always wanted to, but I never thought anything of it. And I actually remember telling people like, yo, I want to rap, and like them laughing at me like, no, you ain't gonna rap. It was always just this desire. But it wasn't really until I met my husband, because he is a hip hop head. He actually produced for a local hip hop group that had a little traction back in the day, but he switched sides and started doing gospel music. So I think a lot of his influence, his production style and his influence, has played a part in that. But also just when I hear music, sometimes if I hear something a certain way, you know, you just ride the beat according to it. Yeah.
So being classically trained, does that help you in being a hip hop artist?
Yes.
How does
There's
it
a lot of
that?
there's a lot of vocal mechanics. There's a breathing, like number one. I definitely have to say breathing, and also how to speak, the wording within your breath. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little jumble tongued. But I definitely using a lot of those fundamentals: posture, breathing properly, diction. A lot of these definitely play into not just singing but hip hop as well. And then there's the swag factor.
Oh yeah, totally the swag factor. Totally. So talk about how you developed your brand and yourself, and of course we talked about being authentic, but as an artist, you know, figuring out, well, who the heck am I going to be as this artist, you know?
Really good question. Developing my brand, it's really funny you say that, because releasing our first song, DCMO, was really a faith leap, and it was really just something that we felt the Lord saying, go ahead and do. So we did it. And really we actually hit the ground running, and then did the reverse of building the who am I as an artist. So at first I didn't know who I was when I first came out with this album. I just knew I wanted to sing, and God told us to release a song, so we did it. And then getting into the industry a little bit, it was a little depressing in the beginning, because even though I had realized this freedom of, oh, I'm me and I ran right into people who felt like they had to tell me who I was. This is not good. We don't like your name. I don't even understand it. Right. You're this person. You're this artist. So it's a constant revisit and a remind that I'm me. I'm okay. This is how God made me. And there's room for me, because there's room for everybody in the kingdom. That's right. Yeah.
I love that. So talk about where is your music now? What's out? What are you pushing now?
So right now, shout out to TriSat Music Group. I had the honor and the pleasure of being on their 4th I Am Gospel 4 compilation. Shout out to Lyric. Because she allowed us to submit our music, and we're all working together on this project, this amazing hip hop project. So I was able to submit my newest single, Conqueror. And that's a testimony in itself, because last year, 2020, was a whole year of the Conqueror.
Yes.
Personal struggles, but just, getting the song out. So that's my current single. I also have an EP out called the Psalt-e, and it's just a little bit of, it's some of my earlier working. I think the artist that I was when I released the EP and the artist that I am and where I'm going are two different people.
Wow.
But it does have my song Fit In on it, which is my baby. There's some really good cuts on there, and me playing around with singing and covers and bars and stuff like that. And then I'm in the lab working right now with my husband.
All right.
So yeah.
So expecting some new music soon?
Yes, ma'am. We're looking at the top of 2021. We're gonna do a self-release track called Psalt-e. And it's just a really fun, cool way to tell people a little bit about me and how to say my name. Yes, so
really that's funny. So what does Psalt-e do for fun?
Psalt-e, I'm a little bit of a homebody. So I like old school TV. Anything really from like the 90s and down. Like Taxi or I Love Lucy, a lot of black and white family stuff where everyone comes to resolve at the end of the day. And I think that helps, because I think it just brings us back to a cleaner time in life, to where, that was the message, that was the norm. And I try to live that. We should be able to share our feelings. And, if you watch these shows like Full House or something, they have the moment where they pull out the church keyboard and they're playing the chords and they're sharing their feelings and resolving. I just feel like that should be normalized. Like it was such a good thing back then. So what else do? I like nature. And I also like creating things naturally, using natural ingredients. Like I love sea moss, making soaps and hair products, make my own hair products and facial products.
Okay.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
Right. That's
a little different from music, right?
Well, you know what? Sometimes you have to have a little reprieve from what you do all the time. And that helps you to be more creative when you're doing what you're doing, actually.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So tell everybody how they can find your music.
Well, my music is available on all digital media outlets: Spotify, Apple, iTunes, YouTube. You can also Google Psalt-e, Psalt-e. My music's available. You can also go on my website, www.iamsalty.com, my Facebook page, Instagram.
Okay.
I think I got all of them.
So you know what? I forgot to ask you one thing. You kind of alluded to it a little bit. What did you learn about yourself last year during the pandemic?
That I am resilient. I'm definitely a conqueror. My newest thing that I've been telling people, there's a lot of depths and pieces to me. So if I had to describe myself outright, I'm a little bit of an onion and an English muffin. Not a nooks and crannies, a lot of layers. But the deeper you dig, the more you know me, and you'll love me. You know, to know me is to love me. What else did I find out about myself? Sometimes I'm wrong. Going to therapy, you just have to really be in a place to where you're like, Lord, I'm ready to see me. A lot of people say that, and then God starts showing the mirror, and it's like, ouch.
I'm like, no.
Yes.
Yeah.
But my journey, and it's been such a blessing. Whatever God has been showing me, I was just ready to fix it. Okay, how are we gonna fix this? I repent. I apologize. A lot of talks, a lot of sharing my heart. So I've learned that I'm healed and whole in a lot of areas. And what else have I learned about myself? I love me and the skin that I'm in. Like, I'm okay, and I'm strong, and I'm enough.
So have you seen yourself change, like personally, like, hey, I don't feel that way anymore. Hey, I don't do that anymore. I don't say those things anymore, or whatever. I mean, have you just like recognized how much you've changed?
Absolutely. Yes. I can talk about when I started my therapy journey. Even at the beginning of this year, I know at the beginning of January, it was a real talk that I had with God, where I'm just like, God, I just want your joy, you know? And I was feeding on so much of not the wrong things, basically. And I wasn't really a drama person, but I was a person who liked to watch reality shows. And I'm not knocking people who knock them, but my thing, you know, when you want to lose weight, you change things, right? Yeah. So just seeking God's joy. Reading scriptures. Philippians 4:8 was like my baby. I think that's gonna be my next tattoo. But it's like my baby, and I started going on this journey with God to where it was just genuinely me and him. No prerequisites, no like, oh, you're a worship leader, so you gotta love God this way. Like, just real genuine me and him. And right around the third month, his joy just started to fill me. I would speak on it, I would dwell on it, and his joy just started to fill me genuinely. And then it got to the point where it was infectious, and I didn't even realize it. People just started coming up to me, oh my God, you're such a joy to be around. And I'm like, what? I'm just being me. I'm not even doing nothing. Oh, no. You were doing so much. You know?
You look so happy. It's like this glow of happiness about you is amazing.
That's God's joy.
I don't even know you. I don't know y'all. I don't know her, y'all. But she looks so happy. Yeah. And that's a beautiful thing. It really, really is.
God is good.
And you've been a joy to have today. Again, tell folks where they can find your music and spell out everything so they'll get it right.
So Facebook is Psalt-e. That's my Facebook page. Instagram and Twitter, Psalt_E. You can also go on my website, I am salty, Psalt-e.com. And you can Google Psalt-e for all of the media outlets.
Okay. And you can get her music where music is sold at all the digital outlets. Thank you so much for joining us today, Psalt-e. It's just been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a joy. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for joining me for Good News with Twanda Black. Look, if you'd like to be a guest or you know someone who would love to be a guest on my show, please contact me at goodnews@thepgnetwork.org. That's goodnews@thepgnetwork.org. I'll see you next time. Be blessed.